Hey everybody, and welcome to Business TV, which is a new thing, new show that we've put together, where basically Gareth and I, who run the 1 Hour Network and everything, decided it'd be really good to create a platform on all of our social and stuff that would give other business owners a chance to talk about their business. We could talk about recent topics in the news, any current topics, current affairs and stuff like that, and also give people the chance to promote themselves. And this week we have Sami Lovett from Makers in the Mill and Just Love It Design. Which one are you going? Which one are they both still going, or are you doing one label now?
Both still going, but I've got Just Love It Design is the kind of more wedding side and all the sustainable branded corporate wear, whereas Makers at the Mill is my creative workshops and team building days, which is the side of the business that I'm learning and growing and going with at the moment. Still running, but Makers at the Mill is kind of going in a separate direction to what I kind of imagine, but in a really good way.
Yes, it's just B2C and B2B really. You're kind of the two arms to the business. Good, excellent. Right. So, what's happening in the world, Gareth? What are we doing?
Where are we going? Sami here. We want to talk really about Sami, about being creative and mental health and how she can help businesses. And tell us all about it, Sami. Tell us what you do.
Okay. So Makers at the Mill, kind of like the origin story of it was I moved the business into Sunnybank Mills in Farsley in September 2019, and at that time I was Just Love It Design, and then I wanted to do these creative workshops and then realised that I was speaking to two different audiences, and so came up with Makers at the Mill. And predominantly it was going to be creative workshops where people would come down and learn how to use power tools and learn practically and to make their own personalised products. And Gareth's done some amazing videos, and that has really kind of they're brilliant and they're great and they really get the point across. And so those kind of sales have picked up now in the last couple of months for public to book on and come and learn stuff, and that's brilliant. I love it. But during lockdown, I couldn't do any of that. And what I had to kind of do and think differently and pivot, and I started doing creative workshops for businesses where we would laser cut flat pack wooden products, send them out in craft kits to corporates and like teams and at their homes and employees, and then we'd get together on Zoom and they would build and paint and decorate their own personalized product that they put together, and by the end of it they would have that product, whatever product that we had designed for them. And from that I've actually done a lot of learning and development, and I think from that, and that's the way that Makers at the Mill is going to kind of grow in the future, I've realized that I can help more people with their mental health and well-being from getting them to do creative projects, and it's brilliant because we've been working with corporates who go, crafting session, and by the end of it they're like, my llama's called Jeffrey. And like, this creativity is underestimated, and that's my little mission, is to actually change people's opinion of I'm not creative, I can't do it, to everybody can do it. And actually there's so much research behind how creativity can help mental health issues, and it boosts the mood and improves happiness, and it de-stresses you as well. So my little mission is to work with more corporates to change that and get people working more practically and creatively from their own desks.
And do you think more corporates are taking this on board with regard to well-being and mental health and doing something a little bit different?
I think so. I think the pandemic has kind of created that shift, because we as a society went through a massive change through the last kind of couple of years, and we have had to change the way that we work, where we're working from, how we're doing it. We're not working kind of face to face anymore, and actually more companies are becoming woke to the idea that mental health and well-being is important, and we have to look after our teams and the people within our businesses, because that is what drives the business, and that's what grows the business, is the people, and not how hard we're working or anything like that. And there's a case study like Microsoft, for example. They went down to a 4-day week, and that improved productivity by 40%, and then 90% of their staff were happier, and they're saving electricity, they're using less paper, and so actually it does work. And I think people are kind of looking.
So you're a fan of a 4-day week then?
Wow, I wish I could.
I wish you could. Well, being self-employed, you don't have the luxury. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, the whole 4-day week thing is quite a topic of conversation. I mean, I'd love to get some input from the viewers or whoever, if you're watching this, what your thoughts are on the 4-day week, because it's interesting because the studies that go with it, I think isn't there a country that actually does a 4-day week, and they found that it did improve productivity and stuff.
Is it one of the Scandinavian countries?
It was one of the Scandinavian. I think it might have been either Sweden or Norway, but don't quote me. Never quote me, because most of the time it's offensive. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it is an interesting subject. My brain can't fathom 4-day week. You know, it's a weird concept. I mean, probably because I work 6 days of the week mostly anyway, and I get bored very easily. So yeah, but going back to the mental health, one of the things about the mental health side of things these days, I mean, hugely on the increase because of the whole pandemic and the way that things have been, the way it's been dealt with, you know, locking people down, people panicking. I don't think the media has helped in that aspect. But you know, so there is a lot to be said for mental health and stuff. And I think, having been to your workshop, that using power tools is a really good way to de-stress.
Yeah. As long as you're using them safely.
Yeah, and not on each other. No, please don't use power tools on each other. Okay, there we are. That's the disclaimer then. But no, it's seriously, I mean, when I visited your workshop to do the videoing and stuff, I was like a child in a blooming sweet shop again, because you know, you've got all the power, you've got all of the saws and the routers and the drills and all the rest of it. And it reminded me when I was an armourer back in the army. And I was like, oh, I love it. So yeah. But mental health. So what kind of things are you putting on then to help businesses kind of de-stress, as it were?
So I've got a couple of options. So I think what quite a nice kind of introductory activity that I offer is our creative wellbeing workshops, where we'll work with whoever is organising that activity. So it could be somebody in HR predominantly who is organising it, and we will say, here's a catalogue of products that we've got, or we can design one for you because I've got the skills to design and make a bespoke product. Like earlier this year, we designed a box that would go in a locker because there's a private medical company that were going to a hybrid approach, and so they wanted to build a box that they could put their products in, like the mouse and the pens and everything, to clear their desk, put that box in. Somebody else would come along and take their box out of the locker and put their mouse and all their pens and all the stuff for their desk on it. So we designed
that's good
for them, which is quite nice. And so we're doing like our Christmas workshops now, and it's quite a nice activity because by the end of it, everybody will end up with a product that they've made. And actually we're doing a couple of workshops where we're putting boxes together where families can do it online together, which is quite nice. It's like a Christmas party but getting the families involved, which is lovely. So our workshops are brilliant. We're also working with a couple of mental health charities and doing workshops for a whole range of different people, not necessarily corporates, but so that's quite nice. And then in January, what I am launching is a subscription box for corporates, because what I've realised is the wellbeing workshops are brilliant because they allow people that time, that team building, get people together online and they get to make something. It's wonderful, it's nice. It's not gonna stop the problem of people being overstressed, overworked, depressed, and all of that. So my solution, hopefully, will be a subscription box where companies will sign on, and then their employees will get a box through the post once a month, and the product will be different every month. And so it is just to encourage them to have that box on their desk with the paint and everything else that comes with it. And it can be self-contained on a desk as well. You're not making anything crazy and massive. You're not using a power tool. It is just something you can construct on your desk by yourself. And if you're feeling a bit too zoomed out, if you've had too much go on in that morning or an afternoon, it's pick up the paints and just make something and just spend a little bit of time in that meditative state to process your day or the stresses and everything else. And hopefully that will kind of get more people being a bit more creative in their working life. And if it's coming from the employers, if it's coming from the businesses going, it's okay for you to do this. Because I know that if I was at work, I'd be like, am I okay to do this? Am I being paid to do this? And you might not do it because you might be like, oh, I've got too much work to do. But it's trying to change people's shift on the mindset of, this is part of your work, we're encouraging you to do it.
Yeah, I must admit, I like cooking, and that's my I process the day at the end of the day when I'm cooking a meal. So yeah, I can understand. I can see what you said. Using your hands, I think it's a distraction, isn't it?
Mm.
You know, oh, brown dog. But it's a distraction. Sorry, Simpsons. Don't get distracted. Oh, brown dog. Anyway, but yeah, it is that distraction. It is that, and I think you're right. With employers need to say, look, hey, we're happy if you do that, because otherwise you'd be doing it worrying about getting told off. And the one thing you said there actually that made me think is people think, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to get this done, I've got to get this done, I've got to get this done. Sometimes we can overwhelm ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes just going, do you know what? Right, I'm going to go downstairs and wash the dishes, or I'm going to build this, or I'm going to do this. I'm just going to get away from this environment. And then coming back to it, you're actually more productive.
Mm.
Doing
things in shorter blocks.
Yeah. And distracting yourself away from, it's like when I was in the army, I was one time we were in a turret of a warrior armored vehicle trying to get this item out, and it wouldn't come out. And the staff sergeant came up and he said, Taff, come and have a beer, because the boys were having a beer because it was end of an exercise. And me and the other lad, we went up, we had a beer, we went back, and it came straight out. And we'd been there for an hour trying to get this damn thing out. But just that distraction, that time away was enough.
I mean, you practice what you preach, of course, Sami, because you took quite a bit of time out earlier part of this year, didn't you, to raise a load of money for charity? Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you did there and what your experiences were?
Yeah. And it's always nice I do look back on it and go, God, remember when we did that? And it seems like ages ago, but it was literally June and July this year.
Yeah.
I think, one of the things that I found during lockdown personally is that fitness is something that is now part of my life, my working week. I notice my performance and stress levels, if I'm not doing constant fitness or have that in a routine, something goes out the window. And I actually use that as not a coping strategy, but it's something that if I keep on top of that, I love it. It's great. So I got into fitness during lockdown, like quite a lot of people, because there was not much else to do. And then that changed I was like, right, I'm turning 30 next year. I want to do stuff. I really want to do lots of different things. I want to push myself further than I've ever pushed myself in a fitness capacity. And so for my 30th birthday, I walked 177 miles of the Pennine Way, which was almost the end of my year of fundraising for dementia, a dementia charity, which is something that I feel strongly about. And so, taking that time off, 16 days, to battle myself through that. And it was really nice to take myself out of the working environment and not do any work. And right, we've got a mission to do. We've got this many miles to walk today. We're going to get to here and take every day step by step. And it was brilliant. It was a good learning activity. I learned what I can deal with and what I can carry and everything like that. But the best thing I think was meeting people, because I did it on my own. And I did meet a lot of people like, are you doing this on your own as a woman? Oh, well done to you. And I was like, well, also, there's lots of guys doing it on their own that I met. And so one thing that did find is like, are you saying the same to them? Well done, are you doing this on your own as a guy? I don't know, I wonder if they did. But also, I met some wonderful people. Some days you'd walk with people for a bit, and then they might go and do stay somewhere overnight, and then they might pick up the trail again somewhere else. And some people might flow in and out of your trail. And I met a couple of people like that. And one guy said, why didn't I do more of this when I was younger? He just retired and was 60. And he's like, I'm just taking about 20 days to do this. I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to take my time. Why didn't I start doing this earlier? Why have I waited till I'm 60 to do this? And then there was another gentleman that I met in Malham, and we sat and had a couple of pints at a pub. And he was exactly the same. He also said he'd worked all of his life, branded clothes, big car, big house, wife, kids, all of those status symbols. And now he's like, I'm divorced. I've still got business, but I enjoy doing it, but I'm not chasing the work life anymore. I've not taken all of that or spending all that money on all of those status symbols. I actually really enjoy now just traveling the UK in a camper van with my 2 kids, and I love it, and my life is so much less stressful. And actually, why should it take us to be like, why have I retired and only discovered this? I've just been through a divorce and I've discovered this. Can we actually incorporate well-being and being outside as part of our actual life instead of going work, money, and all of that? Actually, just why does it have to be about consumerism? Can we just stop and just enjoy life?
Yeah, I completely agree. I must admit, at the end of the day, we are too consumer. We do consume too much. We chatted about this at networking this morning, and we touched on it briefly, but it is we're too much of a throwaway society. And can I point out though as well, something I was thinking is that Sami, when she said she did this on her own, she carried everything she needed for the entire trip as well. So she was camping rough as well and everything else. So basically, yes, in fact, have I got a hat? I've got a hat. I'm just going to take it off to you, okay? So basically, so I got my hat. So I take my hat off to you. I doff my cap to you, okay? I got props. Don't worry. I got props for everything, okay?
Just out of interest, Sami, how much did you raise?
With gift aid over the whole year, everything that I did was about £2,800, I think.
Fantastic.
Well done.
Great.
Well done.
Great.
Yeah. Would you do it again?
Yeah, I'm planning to do the Tour de Mont Blanc this summer.
Wow. See, I've got it in my head now. To my lockdown hobby, by the way, was homebrew. Doesn't get you fit, but it does make you forget the lockdown. But but a lot of the time I walked along the canal collecting product, and I just thought, you know what, I would really like for charity and stuff to walk the Leeds-Liverpool Canal.
Yeah. Just
to walk the entire thing. Now I would have to get in shape because I must admit the lockdown I did let myself go slightly. But yes, I just thought this would be such a good event. And for any triathlon athletes out there, you could probably do a Leeds-Liverpool triathlon. You could cycle it, run it, and swim it.
Not sure you'd want to swim the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, but
you probably catch something. But but yeah, so you're going to do when are you going to do the Blanc? Did you say
the Tour de Mont Blanc? Last year, I think now I've decided that I will take 2 weeks off around my birthday because my birthday's in July, and so my summer holidays will be quite busy next year because of the plans that I've got for the business, and so I will take off like the last week of June and the first week of July to go and do a walk every year and go somewhere different and do that. So that's when I'll be doing that in kind of June, July time next year.
Good stuff. Right, okay. I'm going to bring us on to the questions that we ask everybody. We're going to be asking some of these questions to everybody that comes on, okay? And if I take the first one, Gareth, and then you can take the next couple, yeah? So I know you're quite young anyway. So, 21 or whatever you are.
I'll take that.
Take it. It doesn't come often. What piece of advice would you give your younger self if you could go back in time?
Yeah, it's a hard one, I think. But I think the main one would be to trust your gut and trust yourself. If you believe in what you do and you put enough work and passion into it, people will buy into that and they will support you. And not everybody will support you though. I have had people being like, is that going to work? Like trying to offer creatives to corporates or what you're doing, are you really sure that's going to work? And sometimes if you do listen to those people, and actually that goes like from experience, that could kind of lead you down like the path that you don't necessarily, not healthy anyway. So actually it's believing in yourself and actually it will work. It will. Okay.
Is this true? It's very true. There are some famous stories out there of people who've poo-pooed or been naysayers about an idea, who've learned to regret it. One that I always remember is Hewlett Packard, when Steve Wozniak worked for them, under contract. And when he built the first desktop PC, he went to them and he said, look, I've designed and built this, but I want to just carry on, so I want to sell them. And they said, oh yeah, who wants a computer in their house? And they give him carte blanche to go and build computers and sell them to people to have in their houses, because they thought nobody would want them. And the other one is IBM said to Bill Gates that there's no money in software. Yeah,
that was a mistake.
There was a couple of good mistakes there. Xerox actually said to their engineers who designed the graphic user interface that we use today and the mouse system, they said to their engineers, sell it to Apple. So wow. Yeah, there are people out there who will poo-poo what you do, but at the end of the day, go with your gut. Go with your gut. Always. And hard work will make you luckier.
Yeah.
So looking forward into next year then, Sami, to the end of 2022, what do you want to achieve? What are your goals? What do you want to achieve by the end of 2022?
I think mainly with the Makers at the Mill side of the business, it is encouraging more corporates and employees to take creativity on board as part of their well-being kind of structure and their well-being kind of strategy. I think that would be good, because I think helping those people would be really good, and it's that kind of thing of, if I can achieve that, that's really heartwarming and it's quite nice. And I'm also taking on a Kickstarter employee, hopefully in the next couple of years.
Oh, fabulous.
So looking forward to training somebody up as my workshop assistant, and to train them on my laser cutter, and to give them those practical skills. And even if they move on after 6 months and go and get a job somewhere else, at least kind of, because I'm a big believer if you can do practical stuff, you'll go a long way in life. I think, like, just little things, using a hand drill, for example, sanding something down, having those practical skills are, like, to some people just don't have them. And actually, if I can teach somebody those kind of skills, and if they can use them later on in life, that would be great. If they can stay with me, that would be also great, because I want to grow the business and have a couple of people like that with me. So
brilliant. So big plans going into next year.
And a couple of weeks off to go and walk along the whatever it is now. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look it up, the walk that you're doing.
So our final question for you, which we're going to call it, I think we can call this a bit of an educational one, because I think people can take tips and tricks from all this.
Sharing, Gareth.
Sharing.
Yeah.
So what, out in the whole world of the internet and your computer work and all the stuff that you do, what are your favorite productivity tools or apps that you've got? You know, what works well for you, and why do they work well for you?
My number one, and I will always say this to people, is Trello. If you're not using Trello, what are you doing? Trello is my life. I don't know if you guys use it or have an experience of using it.
No.
It's really good. It's kind of like task management, really. So you have lots of different boards. So on a board, for example, I've got my week, and I've got my to-do list, and I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so I have tasks that I've kind of put in, and you can get it on desktop, you can get it on your phone, you can get it on your iPad, on your tablet. It's available everywhere, on your hands, everywhere. And it's great, and you can move tasks around. If you've got teams that work with you, you can assign tasks to different people if you share your board with them. Everything is on there, literally every part of my life is on there, business and personal. And it basically, every day I have to track Trello to see, like, what am I doing today, Trello? And it keeps me on track with everything that I do. If you're not using it, I highly, highly recommend it. It's brilliant.
Is that a paid for app, or is it a free app? Or?
It's totally free.
It's a free app. Excellent.
You can pay for boosts and upgrades, which I don't do because I've not got a massive team, but I see, like, if you do have a big team, how you could utilize all of that. You can put in a task and then put a date on it, but like, this needs to be done by this time, and it'll input it into your Google Calendar, and it'll tell you that you need to be doing that at that time. It's really good, but it's free, so if you're not using it, I highly recommend it.
I'll have a look. I'll look it up, and I'll put a link in the comments section as well for people to be able to click through to it. So that's one. Have you got any others that you would recommend? Or
I'd say Calendly, but I think everybody uses Calendly.
Yeah, I think everybody's using that.
That's good. But yeah, Trello mainly.
Yeah. Wow. I'll look that up myself, because got a few projects on myself at the moment, and I think having something like that would be quite good.
Me too.
Yeah. So that's it. So, well, I think all that's left to do now is to basically say thank you very much, Sami, for coming along.
Thank you very much.
For giving us your time. We'll be putting this onto YouTube, LinkedIn, and it's on Facebook already because we're streaming live.
Yep.
My Facebook. But also, if you want to come and meet us all at our networking, then every Wednesday, 8 till 9 o'clock in the morning, 12:30 to 1:30, we have 1 hour networking. We have Netopia, which is available 24 hours a day. But we have a coffee morning on Fridays, 9 till 10. And we have interactive networking, which is our Fast and Furious. I always do that. Sometimes it gets laughs, sometimes it doesn't. But anyways, Fast and Furious networking, 3 20-minute breakout rooms where you will meet different people in the rooms because we have an algorithm that shuffles everybody up. And that's on the last Friday of every month. So the last one for this year will be on the 26th of November, and that's 1 till 2 o'clock. We're not having one in December because it's Christmas and I won't be here. So basically, so no, but you can turn up if you want. So anyway, yes, and we'll be having our Christmas party soon where we're going to do a quiz, which will be fun because we're going to do it in Netopia, which will be really interesting, really.
We hope.
Well, it will be. You are?
Did my team win last year?
I think you did.
Yes, you did.
Won last year,
you won last year's quiz. Yeah. But yeah, so come along, join us at 1 Hour Networking, interactive networking, Netopia. And if you want to be on business TV, then by all means get in touch and we'll have a chat. Okay, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Bye, Facebook.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye.